All right, I know this may not be the most popular video I've ever made, but it's time for me to say goodbye to the ViWoods AiPaper. Let's get into it. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to cover why I'm returning the AiPaper. I want to start by saying this has nothing to do with the way the company has engaged with me, but rather the device isn't something I can recommend for several reasons. Primarily, it is because I just cannot incorporate it into my workflow. This is going to be a slightly different video in that I'm not going to demo the device or show anything. You'll see some things come up on the screen as I give my reasons, but I did actually try to film a feature walkthrough of the challenges and found that my frustrations were coming through, making this the most effective and fair option for me to cover this. You can see some of my early impressions in my other videos, but for me, the device is just not usable in its current state and will likely continue not to be for what I need. Instead, I will give you my top 5 reasons for not wanting to continue using the device, share a few other thoughts, and end with my overall impressions. First, there is a complete lack of cohesion in the user interface and user experience on this device. You have 2 note types that are virtually the same, but have no way of interacting. Of course, this is the paper and meeting notes. In paper, you can have folders and subfolders, but cannot choose any kind of meeting template. Additionally, they just recently added recognizing up to 5 pages with the AI summary feature, which I've not found to be overly reliable, and although sometimes the summary can be accurate, you're limited to sharing it as plain text or HTML. Not having a PDF option, especially since it formats the summary for you, is a big miss. Second, there's a complete and utter lack of basic organizational tools. While Paper does have folders, the meeting app has no way to create folders or to really organize your notes. They do have tags, but only at the page level, and when sorting, it becomes cumbersome. Not to mention that if you use multiple tags, it is just really difficult to search, with only tags and document titles being globally searchable. While you can see your tags, you can't really search within notes either. There's also no headings feature or linking capabilities between any type of note, EPUBs, or PDFs. Third, there's no app experience to speak of. The device allows you to back up to cloud services, but does not have any capacity to sync across devices in a readable format. The web interface allows you to do very little and does not retain anything. When you consider Remarkable, Books, and Supernote all have the capability to see at least your notes, and in some cases all your files, on any device, this is a huge gap in functionality. Just knowing that if my device were to fail tomorrow, I would lose anything that wasn't backed up to something like OneDrive or Google Drive is concerning. Fourth, the lack of some basic annotation tools, also shoehorned into only one app, the Learning app, is just borderline ridiculous. When you consider the power of the Neo Reader on books or the Digest on Supernote, it's just a stark contrast. Basically, you can write on the book, create highlights, copy, use a dictionary, which granted Supernote does not have, and translate or do a quick interaction with the AI model. However, you cannot embed comments on PDFs, open a new note in split screen, create a digest entry, or even link out to another file or folder. Additionally, hyperlinks in PDF files, except the embedded table of contents, are broken. Accepted document types are also limited to 4. Fifth and finally, you do not have the ability to import PDF templates into Notes. Again, not being able to use a hyperlinked planner is not a huge deal for me, but if I want to use a PDF template, I should have that option. Unfortunately, that's just not possible. You can only use image files as templates. PDF files can only be imported into the Learning app. So there you have it, my top 5 reasons that the ViWoods AiPaper is no longer for me. However, before we close out, I'm going to address a few more concerns about the device, some of which are new, others that you've heard before. One glaring issue with the AiPaper is the inflated, yet never charged, price. The company would have you believe the device is worth $799. There's no reality where that's the case. To put it in perspective, you could buy every tablet on the market with the exception of the Mont Blanc digital paper for that price. This includes large tablets like the Books Note Max, the Tab XC. To be fair, the device has never been sold for that, but they have also never backed away from saying it's worth that amount either. Now, the actual selling price varies, but currently, as of this filming, the device sells for $529.99 on Amazon and $549.99 on the ViWoods website. For just $85 to $105 more, you can get the Supernote Manta with the push pen and half folio. For $80 more, you can get the Note Max, and for $140 less, you can get the Books Go 10.3. To me, these are all better value propositions. The last thing I want to address before moving on to my final thoughts is the new styli that have been released. ViWoods did send me the new W2 stylus, which I believe is an improvement over their original stylus. I liked both the texture and the programmable button, although it didn't function well because of the distance from the screen, and that was always buggy for me, but it's a decent upgrade. However, the AiPaper device I received was secondhand and has substantial scratches on it. This led me to reach out to ViWoods and ask them if it was possible that a harder stylus like their new ceramic nib or a titanium nib could scratch the plastic surface of the AiPaper. Their reply wasn't really comforting. They said they had done internal testing and it was unlikely that the ceramic tip would scratch the device. Now, don't get me wrong, I have no way of knowing what the scratches are from, except they were definitely writing and not done by rubbing up against something or anything like that. It wasn't incidental contact. I also don't think that this matters as much for a glass device like the AiPaper Mini. It seems that scratches are not likely at all on glass, although there is the potential to polish the surface. Plastic seems like it may be another issue, which is why companies like Supernote use their protective Feel-Right 2 film. I will put a few pictures up on the screen to show you what I sent to ViWoods. It's hard to see unless you're using the device or catch it in the right light, but it's definitely there. ViWoods did offer to exchange the device for a new one and send me the ceramic stylus. After taking all of this into consideration and really thinking through how much I was having to work to do absolutely anything useful with this device, I chose to write them back and ask them not to send me anything else, also offering to send back the device and the styli I already have. And they graciously paid for shipping, and I will be sending that back. So what are my final thoughts on this? The truth is that from a hardware perspective, this is not a bad device. It's running a decent version of Android, and although I was never able to get Google Play to work, it is possible. I've seen other reviewers do it. It has the newest generation of Carta 1300 Mobius and a 10.65-inch screen. It comes with a decent cover and stylus. You even get a 100-day free trial, although I've no idea of knowing how easy the return process is. All of that being said, this device just isn't ready for prime time, in my opinion. Trust me, I know I'm in the minority on this. I just think that at that price point, it needs to be better than good enough. A lot of people say it does more than the remarkable, and I guess technically that's true in the pure number of features. However, no app, no cloud storage service, no unified note-taking and syncing features, and substandard annotation features just make it not worth the price to me. Then when you compare it to what you get from Books and Supernote devices, the gap widens even further. It really isn't even a contest best if you want to do most or even just a lot of your work on device. One last thing I want to address is they're just new but constantly innovating. That has been said for a while, and taken in a vacuum, that may be the case. However, we're not in a vacuum. What gets overlooked a lot is that many of the features I've mentioned in this video were there at launch on Supernote, Remarkable, and Books devices. That point gets lost in these conversations. Yes, ViWoods is only about a year old, and they're releasing updates, as are all of these other device manufacturers. They also have an aggressive marketing campaign and high payouts, more than 2.5 times the closest competitor for affiliate sales. It makes you wonder what they could do if they put more money into the development of the device. As part of my decision to return the AI paper, I've already taken it off of my website, and I'm working to remove the affiliate links on my YouTube page and in descriptions, which takes a while. I have a lot of descriptions. I've never profited from a device that I can't recommend or wouldn't use myself. Well, there you have it. Thank you as always for taking the time to watch this video and all of my videos. I appreciate the trust folks place in my opinion and hope this helps you make an informed decision as to a device you would most want to purchase. For me, this journey isn't about reviewing e-ink devices, but about the organizational and productivity gains from using them. Special thank you to all of my patrons and YouTube members that you'll see scrolling on the screen. Your support makes this whole journey possible. If you want to support the work I do, please feel free to use the links in the description, send a super thanks, or join as a member. Also, please like and subscribe. Finally, drop your comments below. I want to hear from you. Do you agree, disagree, or have another take entirely? Until next time, thank you all so much and keep on moving forward. I will see you soon. Bye now.